we kind of look at this in multiple ways. Really, it's based on the end user or the person that manages the plan. So we'll just walk through a couple of the key people that are going to use this type of plan.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of it here just depends on how the real estate's set up, right? And so we'll kind of get into this. Is the real estate, and we're going to get into the owner operated. Are you leasing? Is it triple net? So we're going to kind of dive into some of these. So we'll start off with the owner operator.
So in the owner operator world, you're really talking about the people that might have a campus or multiple buildings. It could be a single building, but they built the building, purposely built, they occupy it themselves, and they manage all the assets within. And in the case of the capital plans we're describing here today, we're talking about infrastructure capital plans. So those plans would include all of their mechanical, electrical, plumbing infrastructure, and those would then need to be categorized, of course, based on need and the asset and how old it is, but and how critical it might need to be, or how reliable it is to their actual business. The other component of this same category is somebody that leases an entire building or maybe part of a building that has a triple net lease. In that triple net lease, they're responsible for all of their maintenance, all of the replacement costs, all the capitalization of the assets that support the building. So it's a unique lease type, but it is very common in science and tech and biotech.
Yeah. Another role that needs to be thinking about capital planning is property managers, right? So if you're managing a property for an owner, you need to understand the goals of that asset. And is it a long-term hold? Is it a short turnaround sale? So I think when doing this communication, understanding of what needs to get done, when it needs to get done, why it needs to get done, going through these, it just helps everything run smoother. But I think it's just important to understand what the goals of the owner are. If it's saving on capital costs or more operational costs, because they're going to be paying the utility down the line, and they want to put solar panels on the roof or whatever they may want to do. That's important to the property managers. But all this needs to get considered and needs to get planned. But there might be it's just a different vision than maybe one that's the owner operator, a little bit closer to the business itself. The next one is tenants in full service lease, right? So we see this a lot of times, in where a science and technology lab space might go into a high-rise building where they have some office components and then they have lab components. So in these setup scenarios, it's just important to clearly communicate who's responsible for what systems and what spaces. A lot of times we'll see that the landlord and property management team will be responsible for the office space, where a little bit more of the critical spaces, IT rooms, lab spaces, a little more where there's some liability there. So to make sure that the tenant knows who's covering and who's planning ahead for what assets in that space.